Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Confident Hypnotherapist. Now, my guest today is Emma Romano. And you know what's interesting about Emma? Emma is possibly one of the newer hypnotherapists out of the many people I've spoken to so far. However, what she has done in the time she's been in the industry is next level again, completely uncommon. From her own personal story about how she came to discover hypnotherapy, to this unstoppable drive, creating protocols and programs that help so many other clients and therapists alike, to her ability to be vulnerable and real, while at the same time also being confident, loud and direct. When I wrote my original introduction and I used the word unwavering confidence, when I wrote that word, the person I had in my head was Emma Romano at that time. And so it was absolutely essential that I asked Emma to be involved in this podcast. So thank you, Emma, for
I'll give you that tips later on, mate. That is the best freaking intro ever.
So I know your story about how you came to be, or how you came to discover hypnosis.
Yeah.
But for those who may not know it or who may not know who you are, can you tell me a little bit about that story, about how it came to be that you discovered hypnosis?
Yeah, so I'll give you a bit of background. I'm only in the hypnotherapy field for the last 5 years. Before that, I've always been a tennis coach and a receptionist. And by the way, I was like the worst admin receptionist in the world. But, you do what your mum tells you to do. Got to have the solid job done. You're not supposed to enjoy your job. You just go there.
I was about to say, this out of all the podcasts, this one's probably the one that's going to have to come with a language warning. And yet, ironically, it's probably what most families probably need to watch.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Guys, I'm going to let you know I do swear a lot. I would try and put a lid on it.
No, go for it.
No. I'm a mum of two. My boys are 17, 18. I'm a wife of a really hot Italian guy. He's absolutely gorgeous. And he is.
He's a lovely guy.
Oh, my God.
We're both married to Anthony's, yeah. So...
Yeah, it's an Anthony thing. So Lawrence and I are very, very smart in finding ourselves Anthony's. And life now is really freaking good, but back then it wasn't. I was one of those people, I was literally paralyzed with fear around judgment. I thought, let me take you back. Catholic, mother. Do I need to say any more? Guilt, angry, all that. Did everything for everyone else. Trained to put myself last. Never knew what self-worth was or anything like that. And in 2014, I was blessed. You'll go, blessed? I'll get to it. I was blessed with going blind in my left eye. So we used to go camping every Easter. And I remember driving this campsite and I'm saying, and I'm like, I just don't feel well. I felt like I was getting a flu or gastro or something. I just didn't feel well within myself. And every time I looked left, right, up or down, I would get this shooting pain that would go right on top of my head. And my eyesight was getting very blurry. Now, my husband, my gorgeous husband, is 7 years younger than me, right? So I'm 49 now. So I'm going, I don't know, a bit blurry. He goes, it's probably because you're old and shit, babe. I'm like, yeah, thanks. Do you want to have sex ever again? So we'll fast track. That was the Thursday. We had Easter. We came back on Monday. Tuesday, I was really not well. And I found in my left eye I'd lost most of my color and everything was blurry and I really wasn't well. So I took myself off to the GP. The GP, go into the eye and ear hospital. You've probably got something in your eye. No worries. They can't find anything. And what I mean by not feeling well, I felt almost feverish. I don't know, like I was about to get the flu or something. So I thought I had a virus. They put me in an MRI and 2 days later, this is on the Thursday, so it's been a week, a Thursday to Thursday, I was completely blind in my left eye. I had not even shadow, and I was terrified, right? So let me explain what my life was like at the time. 2 part-time jobs, mum of 2, wife, 2 guinea pigs, a bird, 2 dogs and a cat. I did everything to make myself busy. I was in the primary school, you know, treasury of this, freaking treasury of that, anything and just not to have 5 minutes to myself. Drinking a bottle to a bottle and a half of wine a night, sneaking the occasional cigarette, probably smoking a pack a day secretly. And I was doing competition tennis, competition netball. I just finished my roller derby career. Let me sink that in. Do you know what roller derby is?
I do know what roller derby is.
On skates. Don't ever forget. It was a midlife crisis, I'm telling you. So I was very busy because I couldn't be by myself. I couldn't be still with myself. I was never present. So I was then in an MRI and they said I was diagnosed with optic neuritis. So there's 4 reasons why you can get optic neuritis that the neurologist said to me. Brain tumor, HIV, AIDS, or multiple sclerosis. Oh, goody. So I was diagnosed then with multiple sclerosis. I had 2 lesions on top of my head and 1 in my brainstem. I freaked out. Of course I freaked out. But they said, don't worry, we kind of wait for a second episode. So one of the episodes was the optic neuritis, and they put me on heavy meds. I had to go into hospital every day for 3 hours and get an IV drip, and it was horrible. I was manic. I was angry and sad. Oh, it was just horrible. And went back to work. The eye was not getting better, by the way, but I was okay. Went back to work after about 3 weeks, I think. And then 6 weeks after diagnosis, I went numb from the top of my right hip down to my foot. Freaked out, back into the neurologist, and they went, okay, it's getting pretty serious now. We had to put you on medication for multiple sclerosis. And it's funny, when you go, they send you this nurse who's the expert on the medication. And, you know, she's kind of reading all the ingredients of what's going to happen to you. And there's, you know, fatigue, suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, chronic fatigue. Yeah. I literally took 1 tablet and I had all of those things.
Right.
Literally, I literally did. I talked to myself because I was a believer. The doctor's right, I'm going to believe the doctor. Anyway, 3 months down the track, I was really poorly. The medications gave me heart palpitations. I had gone numb, and it was very strange. On here, I could feel, but here, literally from a line to here, I couldn't feel. Completely blind in this eye. My face had dropped on one side. Looked like I'd had a stroke because I'd gone numb. Numb on my chest. The fatigue was the worst. I couldn't drive. Couldn't really walk. I was dragging my feet. My left foot started going. And I know for those who don't know me watching this, my biggest value in life is family. And I can feel the emotions coming up. I've always valued, I wanted to be a mum at the age of 3. I remember walking around and putting a ball underneath my jumper and walking around pretending I was pregnant at 3. I remember it. I've always wanted to be a mum. And when you're sick like that, I kind of went from the couch to the bed, from the couch to the bed. Now, don't forget, I was a very full-on active mother, woman, very controlling mother, by the way. It's one of those great Catholic controlling mums, you know, because everything had to look perfect. Judgment. Anyway, 2 pivotal things happened. 2 massive things happened that made me go, fuck, this is bad. And they happened within 2 days of themselves. One of them was we went to my mother-in-law's, and my 18-month-old niece, Georgia, at the time was passed to me. Anthony passed it to me. And I was standing there. Now, I had muscle tone, but I don't know, it would come and go. I can't quite explain it. It's very strange. She was passed to me, and I dropped her. and her head was this close to being hit on a concrete step. And thank God, Anthony caught her. That really shook me because I just went, oh my God, does this mean I can't hold my niece or my nephews? Does this mean I can't hold children? I mean, children and animals to me are everything. That's my life force. And it really hit home to me. And then I think it was 2 days later or shortly after, I'm sitting with my son, Ben. He was 11. He's my second son. Jack was 12. And we're watching How to Train Your Dragon, one of my favorite movies to watch. And I'm in my pajamas. I never got out of them because I would go from bed to couch. So I'm just sitting there watching the TV with him. And so I get emotional talking about this, but he just put his hand on my leg and he said, I love it when you're sick, Mummy. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm dying inside. I'm like really dying inside, and I'm struggling with myself internally because I've never been so still. And to be honest, when you don't love yourself, that's a really fucking hard place to be.
Yeah.
Is to be forced to be still with yourself. And I looked at him and I went, what do you mean? He goes, you're still. And that blew me away because 3 months prior to that, the kids would be saying to me, Mummy, do you want to watch a movie? Yeah, sure. Well, during that movie, I'd be doing the dishes, I'd be cooking, I'd be ironing, I'd be on my phone.
Keep yourself busy.
And they'd be sitting there going to me, Mummy, are you going to watch the movie? And I'd be like, sorry, my phone just went off. And I'd be like, I am watching it. They're like, but you're not, you're doing the dishes. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm doing it. I'm looking at the scene. Oh, there it is. And I was never present for my kids. And, you know, whether you call it God, universe, whatever, absolutely blessed me with these moments leading up to get MS and have optic neuritis and drop my niece. And my son say that because for someone who was so hell-bent for having children, I didn't appreciate it. I wasn't there in that moment because I couldn't be still. And when those children come from you, they're 50% of me. So, of course, if I can't be still with myself, how the fuck do I think I can be still with my own children? And it was one of the biggest blessings I ever had. I took myself off to the neurologist that week. It was the end of July. So it was 10th of April 2014 I was diagnosed. And the end of July 2014 was my very last visit to the neurologist. I went in there, just dropped my niece. That had happened with Ben. My left foot started to go. So my hands, my face. So my friend Suzanne takes me in. And she's, you know, Emma's going to be fine. Emma's going to be fine. Because Emma always was fine. I was the fixer. You know, I was always the rescuer. I was always the one, you know, it's easy for me to fix you, Lawrence, and look at myself. So I would hang out with people who were broken and fucked up, you know, just so I could help them out. So God, you know, help me if I ever looked at myself. And what they do is when you go in the neurologist and they're testing to see how far you're going or if you're doing better or worse, they lay you on this table and they put something over your face and they get a pin and they start pinpricking you. And they start pinpricking you to see if you can feel it. Anyway, I'm laying there. I'm like, come on. And Suzanne's cracking jokes and stuff and she's trying to make me feel happy. And she went really silent. So I pulled this thing. I've looked at her and she's just got tears streaming down her face. And I've gone, what's going on? I said, when are they going to start? And the doctor's looking at me with this pin in his hand and she's gone, hon, they're finished. I didn't feel anything, nothing up my shins, on my feet, even parts of my stomach were going numb. And it's a great metaphor. You know, I'd spent most of my life trying to numb myself out, keeping myself busy, numbing myself with alcohol, drugs, you know, smoking, keeping busy. Well, guess what? My body went, I've got you, bitch. Let's just numb you out completely. And that's when I said the neurologist, I went, okay, so when does this get better? I'm done now. I've had my 3 months off. I don't like it. I don't want to play anymore. Because I've got to be honest, there were some parts I really loved about it. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to adult. I didn't have to clean, cook to get me. Mm-hmm. But then I'd had enough. And they don't know. These neurologists, these doctors are amazing, but they don't know. You know, he goes, we can put you on different medication. We can try. He goes, but you want those weird cases that gets it later in life and you're going down fast. I reckon 6 months you'll be in a wheelchair. And that's when I went, not going to happen. I'm going to give myself 2 options. I'm going to kill myself or I'm going to fix myself, because the medication wasn't working for me. In fact, it was almost like a poison for me. For me. I'm not saying for anyone, for me, it wasn't working. So it's amazing when you make this decision of how the universe works for you. Mm. Literally walking out of there, I looked at Suzanne and went, I'm going on a journey. I'm going to heal myself. And she's gone, good luck with that, babe. Good luck with that.
That's confidence for you. Yeah.
We're in the car and I literally get this phone call from this woman saying, Tyler Tolman's in town. You need to go see Tyler Tolman. I mean, who the fuck is Tyler Tolman? He's this food guru. He helps clean your gut. That's probably what you need. You probably need to clean your clacker out and clean up your food, because I was eating all the shit food and all that sort of stuff. And I went on this journey. Hypnotherapy hits me like a ton of bricks. Let me get on the hypnotherapy line. I cleaned my gut up. I had done a lot of help with clearing up my emotions and things like that, and I started seeing clients. I started seeing clients with energy work. Anyway, I was broke, really broke, and I was on Scoopon. I think, Scoopon or Groupon, whatever. I'm trying to look for a really cheap-ass date for Anthony and I. Yep. And I was praying away. I call universe, gosh, it's the old Catholic thing in me. I've gone, God, I feel like I'm really missing something with clients, because my clients that come and see me, they go and they feel amazing, come back a month later with the same freaking problem. I'm like, what are you doing? We got rid of that shit. And I knew there was something missing. I'm stupid. Now, let me give you a top tip. Whenever you ask for a sign, ask for a really obvious one, because I'm not good with subtlety. You can probably figure that out the way I talk. Don't ever try and give me a hint. I'm like, what? I don't get it. So I've gone, God, you need to give me a really clear sign. So I've gone, on Scoopon. This hypnotherapy weekend comes up. I think it was $70 or something like that. Buy one, take someone free, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I've gone, well, if there's a sign, ever there was one, I'm just going to go. Mm. I went, and it was phenomenal. It was actually Australian Success Academy. Mm-hmm. Shane Fozzard and his wife, Jess Fozzard, were presenting and teaching this introduction to hypnotherapy. I had never been to a hypnotherapist. I kind of thought it was bullshit. Mm-hmm. I had seen it on stage, and I thought it was fake as fuck. I'm like, it's crap. But, I'm here for a reason. These two presented on stage, right, Jess and Shane. And one of the first things he talks about on the Friday night, is cause and effect. Mm. Responsibility, I call it responsibility versus victim, or I call it being stuck or in flow, right? My jaw is like this. Whatever this guy said to me afterwards, I just knew I wanted more of it. I knew I'd found my tribe. I knew I'd found my thing. Oh, my God. And I think one of the other big things was, he said, if you don't believe in hypnotherapy, in fact, you've been hypnotized your entire life. And I'm like, huh? No, I haven't. I haven't been to a hypnotherapist. He goes, your entire life you've been hypnotized. Mm. Probably with the wrong shit.
Yep. People like to call it programming. Or inherited beliefs and values. They're all still forms of hypnosis.
Yeah. And I was hooked hooked, line and sinker. Signed up to do masters in hypnotherapy, learning from these two, did NLP, did everything. And then I started introducing it to my clients with massive, massive results, huge results. Now, I mean, it's so exciting. I'm the mindset coach of huge, AFL teams. It's incredible. And this comes down to what this is all about, confidence.
Yeah. It's interesting because you're talking about that cause and effect.
I'm having a coffee. Yes.
Cause and effect, the victim and the accountable there. How much of that do you think impacts on confidence with hypnotherapists out there?
I'm going to say, I don't know if I can give it a number. There's two things. That I really believe stop us. One is we're so good at blaming everybody else but ourselves of why we're not doing things, why we're not doing that. But the second thing is this. Our unconscious mind's job is to prove us right. And we're proving us right on our belief systems. So I'm guessing responsibility, but like cause and effect. We are responsible to searching those belief systems and switching them over. So I'm saying 100%. We have to take full responsibility. The minute we start blaming somebody, like COVID, for instance, how many hypnotherapists went, I can't see clients because of COVID. Bullshit. This is the time where you should be seeing more clients more than ever. I've been seeing clients online 3 years before COVID. It's bullshit.
It's interesting how their own limiting beliefs will come into play here. Like either, the one that I work with all the time is around technology. I'm just not technology minded. But then also I think, if I think about my own beliefs and values, money is a trigger point for me. And there's a part of me that thinks, people can't afford it during this time. And I think that's a limiting belief that potentially can hold me back 100%. Sometimes as well.
All right, Lawrence, after this, I'll take you through a process.
That's okay. One of the things that, I insist on in doing this podcast is if my guests are going to be vulnerable, I need to be vulnerable too. I need to be able to say, this is where I know I had my shortcomings. And the other thing is, we've discussed this before, confidence isn't something that someone switches on and then they're confident in every single setting and scenario. Every single
way
watching this has moments where they are not confident, even if they are a supremely confident hypnotherapist. It would be good if we could just take that, that modality and switch it across and, hey, possibly that's there. But in many cases, there are things that all of us are not confident about. And, I think that comes back, you're talking about, your Catholic upbringing there and the shame associated with that. I think people often don't explore shame deeply enough and recognize that that is actually something that is possibly the root of most of the problems people come and see us about, because shame is really what drives the I'm not good enough, or I'm not successful enough, I'm not smart enough, or whatever the not enough is that stops people from being confident.
And you know what, with shame, especially with hypnotherapists, I believe, we are natural healers. And it's not our first rodeo, people. It's not the first time. Whether you believe in past lives or not, it doesn't matter. But in past lives, we've done this before and we were burnt. We were murdered. We were shamed about it. And we all have a cellular memory. And we can come back in this life and, when you feel that you're doing 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, that can be cellular memory. That can be a belief system from 1,000 years ago. It has to be explored as well. But we need to take responsibility. And I think the more we're in victim mode of it, you're just stuck. It's inaction. And if we blame not having the confidence, I think confidence is bullshit, to be honest. I really say this to all of my people that I train. Don't look for the confidence. Confidence comes with practice.
I agree with that. Confidence is also, I think, a feeling. Because when we step back and go, well, what is confidence? People are often, in fact, I often do this in therapy where people talk about a particular emotion. I'll go, well, what does that mean for you? What does that emotion actually mean? Strip it down to a definition for me. And quite often when people are asked to do that, you can see they're stuck. They suddenly realize that they're just associating this feeling with this label. And it's like, well, let's step back a moment and observe this for a moment. What does confidence actually mean? What does it actually feel like? Because I'm sure confidence, people might say doubt or, I've been talking lately about my own spirituality and discovering, that spirituality for me is about energy. I've never really associated that before, but I'm beginning to get it now. And I often say that there are moments where I feel disconnected.
Yes.
And those moments of disconnection are the most uncomfortable ones because I don't feel like I'm doing my best work. I feel like when I'm doing my best work, I'm connected with something that kind of just streams through.
It's a frequency. It's an energy, frequency of vibration. We're all energy. Whether you believe it or not, everything is energy. It's scientifically proven. But with hypnotherapy, what I love, it's almost science meets the soul. And if you're missing part of that soul, that's where your hypnotherapy practice can be falling a little. Because it's easy for us to look at the science of it, like how the unconscious mind works and all that's all the science of it. But you've got to find the soul to it too. And it's probably when you have the confidence to search and research and sit in that, I think that is the one thing that will change and promote your business. No, not your, like other people's business so much.
Yeah.
It's a trust in yourself.
And I was about to say, like, my next question I have written down here is, what do you think are the qualities that make a great hypnotherapist? And I think you're kind of beginning to tap into that.
Presence. Be present. Pre-framing your client is everything. And being really present with your client. Because if you're sitting there going if you're with a client and you go, oh, I'm scared, I'm not confident, you're just making up shit all about you. It's not about you. Getting with your client, it's all about being present. It's about, this is coming from a woman who didn't know what being present was for 44 freaking years, It's all very new to me. And it's the one thing, you just come in your presence. It's huge just to be there energetically with a client.
Over time, you've created lots of different programs and protocols.
Yes.
And, it's amazing watching you online. It's like, well, I woke up this morning and I discovered this insecurity about me and bam, I created a protocol and now it's, it's someone who just seems to wake up and naturally almost think in this solution way. You've created all these protocols over time. What value do you see these offering hypnotherapists? And do you think that there's ever a flip side to that where they pose a problem as well?
So what value do they give to somebody? So how I work is this. I work very differently to most. I empower the client. So I never put in suggestions. I ask them for their own suggestions. And I just ask really good quality questions. So one of the last processes that I created was in November. I'm going to be really raw. I'm been a very successful hypnotherapist probably about 3 years now, but I had a really dark, dirty fucking secret. I was drinking a bottle to a bottle and a half of wine a night. And I was really trying to, say it was okay for me to do it. I would sit, it'd be 5, 1 o'clock time, and I would have this massive shame and guilt around it. I go, oh, I deserve it. I've saved a kid from cutting themselves a day. I've saved a family today. I've done this. Oh, I deserve the wine. And I had spent about $20,000 in the last 2 years. It was November 18th was the day. 2019, I did this process, and I had spent so much time, and because what was I doing? I was searching for someone to make me stop.
Yeah.
I was falling for that. I was in victim mode of it.
Victim mode, yeah. Someone saved me. Yeah.
Saved me. It didn't work. I could stop drinking. I could stop drinking for a month, 5 months, but I would be in constant conflict about it. It was too freaking hard. And then I woke up on the 18th of November. It was the answer to my 12-year anniversary. And I was hungover again. And I pride myself on being authentic, and I wasn't. I was being authentic all the way up to 5 p.m. Then from 5 to 8 p.m. I wasn't being authentic. And that was shameful for me. So I was bookending my day. I was going to bed with shame, waking up with shame. This is how bad it was getting, guys. Like, I would go and have a shower every night, and I had to train myself to open my throat to throw up silently. It was getting bad. It's not something to be proud of. But on that Monday morning, I woke up and I went, what the fuck is it going to take? And I'm a very tough practitioner. I am not your yes person. Mm-hmm. There's too many yes people out there. I'm the one who's going to say, no, this is what do you think you really need? So I went, who's the toughest practitioner I know in the world apart from Tony Robbins, because I can't afford $1 million an hour. So I went, me. And I sat down and I asked myself the 10 hardest questions I've ever been asked in my life. I was in fetal position on the ground. I was crying. I was yelling. And then something changed. And I found out the science of this later. I asked myself a question that the amygdala in my brain switched over.
Right.
And I haven't had a drop to drink ever since. I'm down 15 kilos. I don't want it. You can sit there and have a drink in front of me. It doesn't bother me. That's the last process. How do I get to be this person who was always in shame and fear? One of my biggest judgments as well was around myself, and belief system was I was dumb. I had a lot of evidence to prove that, because whatever you believe, you prove yourself right.
Yeah, correct.
So I repeated year 8. I failed year 8 twice. I didn't do year 11 and 12. I did secretarial school. So I finished school literally mainstream in year 10. I've never been to uni. I've not been to any of that. So how the hell does this chick, who, dumb as fuck, by the way, all the evidence there, full of fear of judgment, now has created processes that have reached around the world and changed my belief system around judgment. I changed my belief system around I'm dumb. I changed my belief system around technology. I love this, Lawrence, because you are like the tech king. And I think it was you who actually said to me about a year ago, and I was like, oh my God. I said to you, I can't remember where you were. And I said, I'm so dumb at technology. And I was on my phone or something. You went, isn't that funny? Yet you're doing it.
Yeah. It sounds like something I would say. Yeah.
I went, oh my God. I had this belief in my head that I couldn't do technology, but I'm on Zoom. I'm on Facebook. I'm making phone calls. I was doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's all technology is. You're holding it in your hand.
It blew my mind. So that's how I get to write processes. That's how I get to be creative, because I was told my whole life I'm not creative.
I think this is coming back to that, you're talking about confidence before. It's the belief that I can versus I can't. Exactly.
And, just ask yourself your question. And it's quantum linguistics. It's called quantum linguistics. And what's her name? Kate.
Byron.
Thank you. Is it true? That's the greatest question ever. Am I dumb? Is it really true? Yep. No, I can drive a car. I can read a recipe. No, I'm not dumb.
That's the definition of what dumb is as well.
Yeah.
If you're an amoeba on a floor that can only crawl, then I'm sure you probably have still some street smart qualities. But, we are more than that. We are more than what, the education system defines as being intelligent and not. As I always say, intelligence tells you it's raining. Wisdom tells you to get out of the rain. They're two very different things.
Exactly. So, any struggling hypnotherapists out there who sit there and go, I'll never have the confidence. You're right.
Yeah.
Because that's what you believe.
The Henry Ford quote?
You're 100% right.
The Henry Ford quote, regardless of if you believe you can or you can't, you're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right. So whatever you're struggling in, whatever you're stuck in, have a look where you're blocked in your business and go, what's your belief system around that?
So what do you think someone can tell themselves then? If I mean, let's look at it this way. We have a lot of hypnotherapists in the world. And
not enough, by the way.
When you talk to hypnotherapists, I think when there's these honest discussions going on, was that my stomach? I don't know. When you have these honest
Teddy, that's my dog.
When you have these honest discussions going on with them, I tend to find that there are some hypnotherapists who are very successful and exude that confidence. Then you have some that are quite open about the fact that they feel like they need to know more. Need to know more, I think, is the phrase that comes to mind. And then you have the third ones, which I tend to find are the ones who will tell you about how busy they are, but are they really?
There's so many of them.
Is this their ego going on? And it's a bit controversial raising it, but let's call them out, because that's also inauthentic. And you're talking about authenticity before, and again, authenticity, like confidence, isn't, you don't suddenly become authentic and that's it for the rest of your life. One of my New Year's goals a couple of years ago was to be more authentic, and I'm still doing that goal, and it's freaking hard sometimes.
Yes.
Because it means that you have to step back and go, I was wrong at this. This is my dark side. These are the things that I'm ashamed of. This is my dirty little secret. Yeah. And to trust that you can be that and know that it's okay.
And do you know what I love about, so I flipped that. I'm really good at flipping the story. So I would sit there for years going, why am I drinking? And even just yesterday, I was talking to one of my business partners, Shayla. I'm like, there's a reason why I had to spend that $20,000 on trying to stop drinking. If I'd have stopped drinking, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have created this process.
Yeah. I
wouldn't have this story, because I see so many mums who've got this dirty little, they're like, I'm drinking. I'm going, no judgment, sister. I've been there, done it. I'm only 8 months sober. I get it. And to not have that judgment and be that beacon of hope and go, let me take you through 10 questions. You're going to come up with the answer yourselves, and that's why it's going to work. Instead of me telling you what to do, you're going to come up with it. But I think one of the biggest issues with hypnotherapists, and I have a feeling it's who you're being taught by, there is no competition. So the ones who are authentically busy, we all believe. Ask them.
Yep.
Do you feel there's competition? I bet you 100% they'll say no competition.
And that's the thing, it's something I think I raised with Rowan as well. Especially for people who experience imposter syndrome, I think one of the biggest challenges they face is that when they see a post come up on Facebook, someone going, I'm so busy, my clinic is full. I don't know why they're talking like that, by the way. That's my unconscious providing, that's what they sound like. Yeah. I'm so busy. We're so full. But you would never do that. And there's that part of you that goes, why am I not that? Why am I not busy? What am I not doing that, is getting in the way? And perhaps that's the problem. Perhaps we need to flip the question to what am I doing that's getting in the way? As I'm talking about that, and it's coming to my mind. But coming back to the question that we're great at creating these loops, aren't we? We're opening them up and they're not closing. People are going to be going, where's the end of that sentence? You think about those different types of people out there at the moment. What advice would you give someone who is a hypnotherapist and perhaps isn't getting the results that they want, and they're feeling that? They're feeling like, why am I not getting what I need? If they came to see you and say, Emma, what do I need to do? What advice would you give them?
There's 4 pillars. Do you know what I'm going to do? I've just created this week the 4 pillars to success for a natural therapy business. I'm going to give it to you.
Woohoo! Okay.
Everybody who watches this, you can have it free. It's 5 videos, PDFs, you can have it, right? It's free. You're welcome. There's 4 pillars. The first one is, where are you stuck? Where are you in flow? So literally, you put a line down the middle of I'll show you. Put a line down. On here, where am I stuck? No clients. Can't do a Facebook Live. Don't know enough. Whatever it might be.
Whatever the limiting belief is.
Yeah. Then in flow, how can I take responsibility for that? And ask yourself always, is it true? I don't know enough. For who? Because you know more than what Lizzie Blewett knows next door.
She's pretty hot though, Lizzie.
She's pretty hot.
Yeah.
And also, you know, when you're a hypnotherapist, you're not coming just from education of what you've learned on a piece of paper. You're coming from your energy, from your frequency, from your experience. So I learned hypnotherapy in 2.5 days, and I went and learned it in 2 weeks. People go, oh, you should be clinical. You should be clinical. Why? If you're a clinical hypnotherapist, fucking good on you. That's brilliant. It's not for me. It's not for me. I've got all these modalities I can give, but you know what? I'm 49 years of age. I've got 49 years of experience. You cannot learn that anywhere. That's what you're offering your clients.
Yep, absolutely agree.
That's what you're offering. No one has your experience. No one has your education. And when people say, oh, I'm going to show you something, right? I'm going to take you for an excursion.
Woohoo! Tour of the house. Here we go.
Let's go for an excursion.
Let me show you my crib, she says.
Yeah, let me show you my crib, right? If you have a think about it, your education is also all those books you've been reading, all the podcasts you're listening to, all the videos you are doing. You are so much more than the year or 2 years that you did studying.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
and even then, I think for many, I think about in fact, one of the questions I have here is it possible for someone to do too many trainings?
yes.
And, I think of wonderful Christian who might be watching this, who's got his quit group up at the moment. And one of the questions he posed in that was, who else buys books and then have them sit on a shelf? And I thought, yep, I'm guilty of that. It's like, there's this discussion I had with Ron about also being about a course junkie and, collecting courses, but not actually doing a course, not actually being it and absorbing it.
I do courses. I'm very choosy about the courses, but what I do is I'll pick pieces out of everybody's training and then kind of make it it's like a blueprint and make it mine. And I'll use that modality straight away. Here's the clincher, which a lot of people don't know. Whatever you learn, you have to put it into practice within 24 hours. Do you know that?
Yep. This is something actually that I know you teach as well, and you talk about this often. And, I think that's actually really valuable. So I was thinking, for people listening to this, what is one thing that they can take away from this that they can put into action within 24 hours? And
you got to action.
It's a big question, but, I think anyone watching this perhaps consider, what are you doing that is preventing you from being confident?
Yeah.
And
well, confidence
do differently within 24 hours.
Yeah, confidence is just practicing. Like the first time you drove a car or rode a bike, you didn't have the confidence to do that. You had the courage to do it, and then you committed to learning it, and then now you just do it unconsciously, right?
But then that comes back to things like, is there the belief of this is too hard, or I'm not retaining it, or I'm not smart enough, or no one will come to me, or what is it? Because all those various beliefs are going to have a different kind of action behind it. If you believe that.
What I love about us as humans, I love this so much because it means we're so much more control of what happens around us than what we think. We prove ourselves right. So if I had a look at if you look at my Facebook, I'm out there, right? But 4 years ago, I was terrified of judgment, especially from my husband's side. They're Italian Catholic. They think I'm fucking nuts. Do you know what I mean? I'm all woo-woo and stuff. So I wouldn't put anything up there. And I remember I did this workshop. It was my very first workshop, and it was on abundance. I paid a fortune for a venue, but my belief system was this: I'm dumb, judgment, no one will come. No one will pay for me, and no one has money, right? So I paid for all these flyers. I put them in Coles. I put them in here. I put them everywhere. By the way, I had to borrow all that money from my mum because I was broke, but doing a workshop on abundance.
And a special shout out to Susie. She's a very special lady. Love your mum.
Hey, yummy mummy. Oh my God. I tell you now, if everybody had a mother like mine, my mother supports me. She does everything that I teach. She comes I dragged her around Australia, around the world actually. She's amazing. Mummy, I love you. Thank you.
I presented to Helen's group, presenting on Zoom can sometimes feel quite a bizarre experience, especially when you use humour like I do. And because everyone's muted, you can't hear anything. It almost could be a tumbleweed going through. Fortunately, your mum was one of the faces I could see, and she was laughing so much that it allowed me to just get on with it. So thank you, Susie, for that.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Interrupted your story.
I don't even know what I was talking about.
Are you talking about your abundance workshop and that you had to learn the money?
Oh, yeah. So my belief system was I'm dumb, judgment. I didn't have any money and I'm doing an abundance workshop. I mean, what the fuck? And you talk about energy flow, none. So how many people? So I had a belief system, right, that no one's going to come, no one's going to pay the money. How many people came to my very first workshop? Have a guess.
None?
None.
Yep.
Not one.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
None. And I look back on my Facebook posts and I would say, doing an abundance workshop on this date, so excited to see you. I didn't give anyone a link. I didn't tell anyone. The information wasn't even there. I set myself up.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you believe, you might have to listen to this a little bit a few times. Whatever you believe, you will prove yourself right.
Mm.
You won't just prove yourself right, you will set it up. You'll manifest the situation.
Mm-hmm.
From weeks, months, years beforehand. You'll manifest it.
Yep. I refer to it as getting in your own way.
Yes.
And
I love that though.
Yeah.
I love that because if we can go, oh, hang on, I have no money. Why not? What's my belief system around it? I don't know, money's the root of all evil or money's hard to come by, whatever it might be. Aha, let's change that. Now let's change it. I love money. Money comes to me freely. Now what do I do to make that look like an action? I'll put up a link on Facebook and say, hey, $3. I'm doing a group hypnosis on, I don't know, how not to be fucked up. Who's in?
That's so Russell Brand. Yeah. It's on brand with Russell Brand to have a title like that, isn't it?
Jimmy, what if you got 100 people like that? Boom, you just proved to yourself you paid $300 and it's 40 minutes.
And record it, repurpose it.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
There you go. Done.
Because I tell you now, with us hypnotherapists, there's so many to go, oh, we shouldn't be charging. Bullshit. Because the more money you have, the more you don't have to worry about your mortgage, your bills.
This is something I remind people. Yeah, look, I think most healers out there would, if they could do it freely, would, because that's who we are. But is that going to keep your business open? Is it going to keep your mortgage or your rent paid? Is it going to allow you to be fed? Is it going to allow you to be able to live a life that's free of stress so that you can actually focus on helping people properly? You know, you're not asked, you don't have to earn millions, but the reality is you need to be paid for what it is that you do.
100%, because money is an energy exchange, and it's one of the other 4 pillars that I'm going to give to you. It's about money. Because I, at one stage, was seeing a heap of clients. I was seeing average about 7 to 10 a week, which I thought was good. I was still working in the chiropractic clinic as a receptionist, and I was working as a tennis coach, but I had no money. Seeing these clients, but I'm like, why am I broke? And I was getting cashies back then. Shh.
So ATO, no.
But I had no money. But what's my belief system? My belief system was I hated money because money was evil to me. And and then you change that belief. It's all in the 4 pillars. I'm so excited for you guys. So when you guys, I'll give it to Lawrence, he can put it in the link. And when you guys if you have a look at it, have a look at it.
Yeah, have a look at it. You might as well if you want.
Have a look at it. Yeah, email me. Yeah, hey, email me, friend me on Facebook, and tell me, what do you think of it? You know, has it helped you? But you've got to action, and you've got to action in 24 hours. It's really, really important because you're 73% or 74% more likely to do it. And in fact, I'll tell you. Sorry, guys. It's in my family freedom protocol, which I'm starting on Monday. There's actual a science to it about actioning.
Yep.
And I can't find it now. Yes. Oh, hang on. Wait, stop looking. You talk while I look.
Okay. So.
I lost it.
That's okay. It reminds me a bit of Mel Robbins and her 5-second rule that she has.
Yes.
You know, which is a similar kind of thing about, you know, activating that part of the brain that gets action happening.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to do it. You know, you don't keep this, because your unconscious mind's job really wants you to be so safe that it wants you to be on the couch with a feeding tube watching Netflix.
Yeah.
You know, and stepping into a place of empowerment, of helping the world through hypnotherapy, it is literally your unconscious mind is like, you're about to jump off a cliff because we don't know what's on the other side. And its job is to protect you and keep you safe. So it'll do everything that's power to pull you back. So just keep saying to yourself, it's okay, I ain't going to die. It's all good.
Step outside the comfort zone, see what happens.
Yeah.
One last question. If people wanted to reach out to you and to explore the many protocols you have or to ask you questions, how can they best do that?
My website, emmaromano.com.au, or email me, emma@emmaromano.com.au.
Excellent. You know what? I think
friend me.
Yeah, I think there's about 50% of my questions that I didn't get around to even asking today because there's.
Do you want to smash them out, and I'll answer them really quickly.
Okay, let's have a look here. What haven't we done? If you're watching this, just talk amongst yourself for a moment.
How you going? You good? Oh, good.
So, one I've got here: how does someone go from taking a protocol that they've learned to having the insight and confidence to create their own protocol? What was that process like for you?
Okay, so that process is this. You've got to get out of the head that people are judging you, and you've got to put in your head that you are helping somebody. So whenever I write a program, or even when I'm doing a Facebook Live or a video or something, I actually imagine a client. So say I'm imagining a woman who's 45 with 2 kids and she's all kinds of fucked up, and I'm talking to her. This is what's going to help her. I take it out of my own ego.
Yeah.
I give that. Another thing on ego, don't get rid of fully your ego, because the ego is there's good ego. The ego is the one that's is going to sit there and go, no, get the fuck out of bed and go and help people.
Yep. Ego's I think ego's the thing that people tap into to recognize that you can help them.
Yes.
Yep. It
needs it's a good ego. Yeah, it's a good ego.
Ego is not a dirty word. Thank you, Sky.
Ego is not a dirty word. Yeah. Next question.
Without giving away too many of your secrets, what do you think it is about you that has made you successful, and how has confidence played a part in that?
Courage.
That's a good one. Stepping outside the comfort zone.
You know what? People think I'm really confident. I am in what I have created. Mm-hmm. I'm not very confident in teaching what other people have created, which I get asked to do a lot. I get asked, oh, can you teach? And I'm like, oh, it's not mine.
Yep.
But I am very confident in that. I am very courageous, though. I'm very resilient, and I have a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to stand up here and say, hey, guys, I was a really famous hypnotherapist and drunk as fuck every night.
Yeah.
You know, that's tough. I feel that.
You know,
that's not confidence.
That's being real, though. And, you know, we keep talking about the universe. I'm a big believer in the universe as well. I think when the universe sees you being open and real like that, it's going to go, yep, you've learned something from this, and I will reward you. Knowing that you'd be highly suggestible, you know, I've seen you screaming over koalas' deaths on stage during hypnosis shows, or helping my partner give birth to a baby before Dan Cundell brutally kicked it off stage. Is that something that you've always been, or did you develop that ability to go to that depth over time?
I've never been like that before. I was terrified of judgment. This is just giving myself permission. I think it's to give myself permission to be really authentic.
Yeah. And you think that helped with that suggestibility or that depth of trance that you can achieve?
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel the people that I look up to, I go, what have they got that I'm attracted to? And it is being vulnerable and authentic. So I'm like, if I'm attracted to that and I've got people looking at me, I am not my biggest value. I'm not. So my self-worth now, if 10 is really good, it'd probably be about, on an average day, 6 or 7. It used to be a minus $1 million out of 10. But my biggest why are my 2 boys.
Yeah.
So if I can't find the magic within, or I sit there and go, oh, I don't know if I should be doing, oh God, that thing about confidence or courage is not there. I go, what do I need to do for my boys? Because I always sit there and go, how do I want Jack and Ben to be at the age of 49? And if I'm hiding from myself or hiding from the world, I don't want them to be like that. So that's how I find that.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
It does make sense, yeah. It's about, to me, I take that as being about finding the meaning and purpose that exists outside of you that's connected to everything.
Yeah, because I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, I'm so full of it, and oh, I love myself. No.
It's your unconscious voice for that person. It's
No, I do love myself so much more, and there's a big thing. This is what I tell everyone. There's no destination to your healing.
No.
And this is what shits me the most. If you're a listen, right? Come in. You hypnotherapists out there who sit there and go, I don't have any problems. You're probably the worst fucking hypnotherapist out there because you have a closed mindset. Open your mind. We all have problems.
And that's okay. We don't need to be perfect.
100%.
We don't need to be perfect. I think this is one of the things I keep coming back to all the time, is that we are all flawed, and that's brilliant because that gives you the ability to give yourself permission to take what you need to take seriously, but let go of the rest.
Exactly.
And to, do the same for the people you love, and also to do the same for the people you hate. So that's a hard one. But if you accept that you're flawed, you have to accept that the people that you don't like are flawed too. And for me, that mindset allows me to step away from judgment that we automatically have.
Because everybody's doing the best they can with the tools they have.
Yep. One last one. What mantra would you offer others that might offer them the ability to tap into their self-confidence a little bit more? How does one push through the fear of failure?
Find your superhero. So your superhero is this. In fact, I'm going to brag a little bit now. My boys were master hypnotherapy therapists and life coaches at the age of 14 and 15.
They're remarkable, your 2 boys.
They're so freaking cool for me, dolls.
Oh, now Anthony doesn't get the credit he deserves. Right. Mind you, your husband's turned into incredible.
You won't watch this anyway. So anyway, so I teach the Family Freedom Protocol, and afterwards I do 3 days live at the Masters. It's where I really process people, and it's incredible. And the night before, this is a year ago, and I do retreats in Bali with women. It's amazing. I love it. I have a really, really great career and life purpose. Anyway, I was talking about this one lady with Ben, and he's gone, who are the people that are coming in? I said, there's these women coming in, my love, and some of them, they just don't see that they've already got the magic within them. He goes, interesting. He wrote a process for these women, and it's called Finding Your Inner Superhero. So he said, it kind of goes like this, and I want you to all it's just a rough image of it. We sit here and we have our pity story, and we go, I mean, I remember, I do it now. I sit there and go, I'm so overwhelmed and I can't do it. And oh my God, but at the same time, I'm making dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still feeding my family. I've fed the dog. I've walked the dog. And Ben goes, you know what? He said, Mummy, sometimes I look at you and you're anxious and you're overwhelmed. He goes, but you don't realize you're still feeding us. You're still loving us. So even when you think you're not a superhero, you are still a superhero. Mm. So what he did was he took these women through this process. There's 11 women, and I've taught this everywhere now. 18 months ago. I teach it everywhere now. And he goes, right, think of a time when you really had your shit together. Was it even driving the car and you had the music turned up and you're singing your heart out? He goes, what were you feeling? Give it a colour. What would you, if you're a superhero, what would you be wearing? Mm-hmm. What's your song? What's your name? So my superhero name is this, Amazing. So it's Emma, Emazing. So when I'm feeling, I can't do today, I go, hang on, what would amazing do? Hmm. And literally my whole body, I stand like Superwoman, you know, I get freaking dressed, I crank a song up. My song is Diva, Whip It. Mm-hmm. You know, whip it.
Whip it good.
Shape it up, get straight, because it's all about, you can whip it. Any problem that comes to you, you can freaking get over it because you've already done it. So when you think that you haven't done it, you're here, aren't you? Look how resilient we all are. Mm. You know, some people have been through what we've been through and they're dead now. We got through it. So we're already superheroes. That's what I do. I morph into my amazing superhero self and I get on with it. I action it.
Yeah. So that's something for everyone to consider, I guess, is when they're feeling like they're not being the therapist they want to be, you know, what would the superhero therapist be?
Yeah. And you know what? Don't shit on people who are doing better than you. Do what I did. I never shat on people. I rang them up. Hmm. And I remember I private messaged Helen Midas one day because she was like this beacon and I was learning from her and I'm like, what is this woman doing that I'm not? So I went, I want to be you. What are you doing that I'm not? And she goes, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. And next thing, boom. You know, yeah, so
really remarkable, Helen. So.
Oh, love her. There's so many of them. I just private messaged her, hey, what are you doing that I'm not doing?
I have to admit, when I first started, that was one of my strategies too. Was I wanted to network. I wanted to reach out to people and say hello and just say, really can I buy you a coffee and just chat and soak up what it is that. And you know what? Very few people said no.
Yeah, because we want to help.
We'd love to do that. Let's do
it. And it takes you back to the time. I mean, the more money we're earning as hypnotherapists, the more time we have to do this. Mm. The more we're able to give. You know, it gives you that space. So the more money is the more time you have, the more peace of mind you have. You don't have to worry about little small shit about mortgage and stuff like that. Mm. Which means you can actually help more people with the more money that you get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lovely, Emma. I love you dearly.
And I love you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this podcast because you know how much I think this is an important topic and how much
I love it.
People can, you know, I'm hoping that anyone watching this really benefits from these discussions, and if it doesn't trigger some thought or some action or get them to question what those self-beliefs are that are holding them back, then I don't know how to finish that sentence. So
I'll give the 4 pillars. It's very exciting. And, you know, there's so many amazing therapists out there who can help you. You know, reach out. If you're a hypnotherapist and not getting hypnotherapy yourself, you should be.
Yeah, and I think it's also about reaching out to those ones that you feel like there's a connection with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, do that.
And you know, like-minded.
Yeah, and you can do a swapsies. I do that. You know, I just took a beautiful woman in America, massive hypnotherapist, just took her through a process. She goes, what can I do for you? I went, I don't know, I'll ring you in 6 months.
Yep.
I'll know I need something. But we should be working on ourselves constantly as well. It's very important.
Absolutely.
So, like, going to a dentist and you go, hey, what dentist do you see? And they go, oh, I don't see a dentist. I'd be out of there.
In fact, I really hope anyone who's in my Facebook group, takes the lead from that and posts something along the lines of, open to doing swapsies, because it would be good to see that happening more. And now that, we're largely online, thanks to COVID-19, there's no reason why we can't be doing this globally.
That's why I went. That's why I went. 3 years I've been online, because there were people overseas who needed what I've got, and who am I to say no? And to be honest, it's easier online because they're already anchored to being comfortable in their own home.
Yep, absolutely.
Get them under trance, much easier.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much. I really hope people...
so much. I feel so honoured.
And to everyone watching, I hope you tune in to the next episode. Until then, stay safe.
Thanks, everybody. Mwah.